Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey, heroes on their way. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say again. Idle champions. From Waterdeep to Icewind, head out to Shelf or Shadowfell, hey, hey. Together we stay. Walk to the monsters, walk to the boss, walk to the right, it's never a loss, hey, hey. Bad guys to slay. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
Hello, everybody. Gaarawarr back again with Gaarawarr's Guide, the tutorial show. Yeah, that's it. That's what we're doing today. Today we are going to go back and do a little recap of all the Fatebreaker champions, because when Idle Champions Present 6 Fatebreaker arrived, 2 of the champions weren't in the game. We couldn't even cover them as a group. So we're going back. We're going to hit the whole group. You can see them on the screen now. We're going to talk about all 5 of these champions and go over their kind of unique uses. Now, they aren't an affiliation or anything. You know, it's not like they were designed to work together. They were all in the TTRPG live play. If you didn't see it, you can find all the episodes up on one of the YouTubes. Cena Games. There's like a Cena Games YouTube and there's an Idle Champions YouTube, and I can't remember which one they put it on. I can't remember which one they put it on. Probably the Idle Champions one. That would probably make sense. Yeah. Oh, hey there. See, that link takes you to both, right? Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's on the Idle Champions one. Nice. Okay. With me today is Gabe. Gabe is here in the production booth. Gabe's going to be grabbing your questions from chat, which is more important than ever on this show, because on this show, I talk for the first hour-ish, and then I answer questions in the second hour. But you can ask questions at any time. So if you put, like it says down in the white box, way down there, question : and then your question, Gabe will grab that, throw it in the document for me, so that in the second half of the show, I can come back and answer all those questions that popped into your heads. Because you know what? If you're like me, and I know I am, if you don't write a question down and get it out into the world, the moment you think of it, you forget it. And I don't want you to forget anything. So just, throw it into chat when it comes across your mind, and let's go. All right, hold on. I think I need to start with some hydration. My throat's already having an issue. All right. So let's dive in. We're going to start off with Thellora. Thellora is our first centaur, which makes her the centaur of attention. Yes, folks. It's time to bring the puns back. Just for one stream only. I may not have a stable internet connection, but I could charge right in and lay down the puns. All right, Centaur Paladin, lawful neutral, tanking support and speed. She comes with a unique speed effect that we hadn't seen before. And it is an actual passive ability, which is fantastic because since she is a slot 1 champion, if you just load her in, she is the default load in, her speed effect can kick in without you having to level her up at all. She just has to be at level 1 and in the formation. And this is important because of the way her speed effects work. So, Thellora gains a rush stack for every, technically it's 10 areas. Hold on. Boom. For every 10 areas she completes in an adventure, and these stacks persist through resets. Thellora's rush target is equal to her number of rush stacks, or the current campaign's favor exponent, that's the number after the E. Use scientific notation, folks. Whichever is smaller. So if she has like 10 rush stacks, but you have E20 favor, she's going to rush to area 10. Okay. If you have 300 rush stacks, but only E50 favor, she's going to rush to area 50. When Thellora kills her first enemy in an adventure, she spends all her rush stacks and skips to the first area past her rush target. Now here's where the wording is a little confused. Like I just said, she runs to her rush target. This says it runs to the area after her rush target. I'll tell you what. I don't know which is supposed to be correct. Half the time I see her rush to the target area. Half the time I see her rush to the area after the target area. I don't know, folks. It's inconsistent, but just know you're rushing to around that spot. And this is great. Like I said, she default loads in as a slot 1 champion. She's at level 1. She gets the kill because she's the only one on the field, and you rush forward. You just skip all those levels. Now, when you skip them, I shouldn't say skip. When you rush past them, let's try to use unique terminology so don't get her confused with Briv. When you rush past them, she gathers all the rewards from the bosses skipped in this fashion. So that means their gold and their bag that they drop with their gems and any chests that are in it. But nothing from the normal monsters. So you do get some gold, which is great because you just rushed potentially a lot of areas and you need to level up to be able to keep killing things. And you get all the gems, which makes her fantastic for gem farming scenarios. She's great just to rush past and get you past early levels, a good chunk of early levels when you have high favor. But for gem farming, again, she's got a feat for that, thin their ranks, reduces the number of areas required per rush stack for Thellora's Plateaus of Unicorn Run ability by 50%. That brings it down to every 5 areas she gets a stack, and that just makes her incredibly consistent. Once you have this feat, she is great for gem farming. I mean, she's good for regular gem farming, but she's great for gem farming and for Briv gem farming once you have this feat. In fact, I use her in my Briv gem farm, and it's glorious. Absolutely glorious. Now, it is a very specific... It does take your... Because she rushes to your favor exponent... Your favor needs to be in very specific places for Briv gem farming, and that is not always easy to do. So if your favor is not in the right place, she's not good for Briv gem farming. If it is in the right place, she's amazing. There you go. All right. Strength of the Luma. For a second there, I was going to read it as the llama, and I'm like, no, that's a whole other kind of champion with 4 legs. Thellora increases the damage of champions in the column behind her. So that's how she buffs. It's the column behind. So a bit like Nayeli, and it is a bit limited. We don't have any feats for her that like extend her buff range, I don't believe. No, not yet. Hopefully that's something maybe they add in the future. Because, you know, buffing only one column behind is somewhat limited nowadays. The next one, the Paladin's Resolve. Each time Thellora attacks and doesn't kill an enemy, because remember, she's not the DPS, she increases the effective strength of the Luma by 15% until the area changes, stacking multiplicatively and capped at 100 stacks. Fantastic. Look, multiplicatively stacking. That's the good way. You know, so every time she attacks, she buffs more. That's what you want. That's what you want when you get to the deeper areas where you're having a hard time killing things and they're stacking up. The more she's attacking, the more you're sitting on that area, the bigger the buff gets until you finally push through the area. The downside of this is she does have a very slow attack speed. So pairing her with champions that reduce attack speed can help her stack this up faster. Otherwise, you just have to be survivable enough to, you know, to last until you get the damage. Her ultimate, the Light of Mount Tura. Thellora charges through the enemies, dealing one massive hit to them in a wide path. Basically, screen-wide, single hit. She then increases the damage of all champions by 400% for 15 seconds. So you get a 15-second damage boost. It's not a lot of time, but, you know, not bad. So when you're ready to do all the damage, boom, away she goes. Oh, there it goes. She's got the little spotlight effect. And then you're doing more damage for a while. There isn't any indicator, unfortunately, that you are doing more damage for a while. I think. Well, actually, you know, her eyes might light up. Hold on. Is that how they did it? I have to watch. I feel like she's got a little glowy eye effect, but I can't remember if that's normal or if that's just while she's buffing. We'll check it in a bit. Specializations. So, she can be a Defender of the Meek, a Vanguard of the Quick, or Kalessa's Blessed. And we basically just, it's ways to increase damage of a specific group of champions based off the number of that group in the formation. So the different groups are Strength of 12 or less, Speed champions, or female and non-binary champions. These are the three groups. So whichever one is, you know, is going to come out is kind of what you're building. You would aim this at your primary DPS. So however you're building your formation, whoever your primary DPS is, you kind of want to pick what that is. And there's the three options for you: Strength 12 or less, Speed champions, or female and non-binary. This is who she's looking to buff. Now, the nice thing about this is multiplicatively stacking, and it has item support and buffs apply to the pre-stack value. So you get the good way and the OP way. So now it is limited, obviously, to the number of champions in the party, and you're not necessarily building parties around everybody being Strength 12 or less, or everybody being Speed, or everybody being female and non-binary, in terms of like a super strong meta party. But one day we might. There's 127 champions in the game. Or are we at 128 now? 128 on Wednesday, maybe? At some point, you'll probably be able to build a solid team out of these groups, and then you're going to have a multiplicatively stacking ability with a pre-stack buff, and let's go, right? It's going to be solid. So know that if you're doing this, it is a nice OP way, and make sure you're matching your damage with what's going on. We're going to go female and non-binary because in this formation, Nahara is our DPS, so, and it is the largest number, so that's great. Works out for us. Alright. Let's get us leveled up here. Wow, that's a lot of levels. Oh, hey, and we capped. Alright. Alright. So, Radiance of the Sky Sense. Thellora increases the health of all other champions by 25%. So this is her health share ability. But it keeps going. And any healing effect on those champions is increased by 25%. So not only does she increase your health, which is a survivability thing, so if you're getting AoE'd, You know, if you have multiple tanks on your front line, much more survivable. But also, everybody gets more healing. Now, I'm not going to go out and say, oh, this fixes the healing problem on L Champions, that people say, well, problem. The game is designed for you not to be able to sustain yourself with healing at high levels. That is an active design decision they made a number of years ago. Because sustaining yourself at high levels was horrible in the original system. Trust me. But hey, it's a little better. 25% better. You know, when you do need some, it's there. Feats to spare. Because she got four hosts. Get it? Get it? The effective feats assigned to Thellora also apply to all adjacent champions. Note that feats that buff her specific abilities have no effect when applied to other champions. This is unique. So, a couple unique abilities for Thellora. This one's huge because, look, sharing feats. Wow. So, these health share feats, fantastic. Set her next to a tank. She's buffed. Not only is she just giving the health share from her health share ability, she's also sharing her health feats. Whoo, serious survivability. She can share increased damage while champions feats. She can share, she has a constitution feat. Everybody around her, con +1. Let's go. And then she also has, she has overwhelm feats, so she can share that with tanks she's next to. But then she also has this attack speed reduction feat. She'll share that with everybody too. It's really, really neat. Really, really neat ability. And as we see, hopefully she gets some more generic. She has a lot of very ability-specific things. Hopefully she'll get some more generic feats, because the potential for shenaniganry with that ability is, with feats to spare, is pretty high. It's pretty high, and I'm here for it. Item-wise, damage of all champions, health item. You need that on a tank for them to do their job. Strength of the Luma, Paladin's Resolve. Here's that multiplicatively stacking a specialization item. So that's slot 5. That's the one you want, shiny and high level. And then ultimate cooldown. And again, we just kind of went over the feats. The big one's the speed feat for her. For gem farming, it is a 50k gem feat. Otherwise, again, having ultimate cooldown or having attack speed cooldown for her could be great. The Constitution specifically is going to help her qualify for Vajra as a patron. And I didn't even say she is a tank, so she has an overwhelm stat that actually matters. It's 25. Pretty standard. Pretty standard for tanks. And she actually has a skin already. She's got the Harmonium skin. Bing. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, wait, what else? It came with some... Hold on. Does this come with... that's the Unicorn Run feat. So, yeah, there you go. Plus a flaming My Little Pony. I mean, Lumi the Fire Elemental. A legally distinct My Little Fire Pony. Whittle, who is in a skin here. Hold on. Whittle has a bunch of skins. Here, let's get Whittle in her default appearance. Whittle joins the game originally from Heroes of the Plains, Streamverse. She's a female Dampier Gnome Wizard. Chaotic neutral healing support and speed. So a couple speed champions in this setup. We still got one more speed champion to go, too. Whittle is, used a Whittle bit everywhere. Yeah. My Little Pony favorite to see what's happening. Sorry, Azure Bliss. Didn't mean to pay you out there. So Whittle has traditionally a blunderbuss, and it's not that she fires it as a weapon. It's her magical focus. So she shoves her spell components in, pulls the trigger, and the spell comes out of the front of the blunderbuss, which is a lot of fun. Everything around her kit revolves around a vampiric gaze. So Whittle charms those adjacent to her with her vampiric gaze, which increases their damage. That's just effect 1. There's a lot of other effects that are going to happen to people adjacent to Whittle. Let's go over the others. Hurry up now. Champions affected by a vampiric gaze have a 25% chance to immediately reset their base attack cooldown after they attack, which basically just means I just attack and I attack again. That's, chance for double attack, basically, which is great. There's some shenaniganry here with a member of Heroes of the Plains called Alindra, where she can actually make this over 100%, so that every time someone, if you have Whittle and Alindra both buffing the same person, that person will just constantly attack, which can be fun. Tasty friends, this is the speed effect. Champions affected by vampiric gaze look extra tasty to the enemies. Each affected champion increases the monster's spawn speed by 10%, stacking additively. So the more champions you have adjacent to Whittle, the faster enemies will rush towards the formation. There is item support for this. I will tell you, you don't need, unlike some other speed items, you don't need a ton of item levels on this to make it super effective. It's more important to have a lot of people adjacent to Whittle. Yeah. Specializations, they're all kind of the same thing, and what it is it's going to buff the champion that qualifies for the stats listed. So you want this aimed at, this is one of those situations where the number of champions targeted means nothing. And what you need to know are actually the names of the champions targeted, because you want it to target your primary DPS. In this scenario, that's going to be Nahara. So what I'm looking for is high stats, Dex, Charisma. Okay, those are my high stats. So I come back over here, and I look for one of these that has Dex or Charisma. And look, there's Strength and Dex, and there's Wisdom, Charisma. So I could go with either Wisdom and Confidence or Strong and Steady for Nahara, right? Mind and Body covers Int and Con, right? So Strength, Dex, Int, Con, Wisd, Charisma. So I could go either way, and if I wanted it to affect lots of people, then I could pick, since there's 2 options for me here, I could pick whichever one affects the most people. It's the same, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to pick one. All right. Only as slow as the fastest link. Champions affected by vampiric gaze have a base attack cooldown equal to the quickest of the affected champions. This basically means, not only does she give you a chance to auto reset your attacks, she also makes everyone faster, and it's based off the fastest person. So there's scenarios you can have where someone could have a super fast attack speed. Let's see what we're looking at here. 425 and 375. So Jang Sao's at 375, Nahara's at 425. When I put them both adjacent to Whittle, they're both going to be 325. Okay. Whoa. I did not. It was 325. Why did it then go to 37? I don't know. Is there not a... Oh, maybe it was 375 and I looked at it wrong. No, anyway, they're going to adjust to whoever the lowest is. And there are situations where you can have people who are super fast attackers because of the combinations of champions going on. And as long as one of them, and as long as that super fast attacker is adjacent to Whittle, everyone's going to attack that quickly. So putting people next to Whittle, not just your primary DPS, but potentially other champions who maybe stack debuffs on hit, or like the new Korth mark, or well, not the new Korth, but Korth mark enemies, and the more marked enemies, the more damage you're doing. Like those kinds of things next to Whittle are fantastic. So keep that in mind when you're building a formation with Whittle in it. It's not just that reset, it's also the potential to make everyone go super fast. Her ultimate is Vampiric Bite, and it's the healing part of her kit, because you'll note we didn't have any healing abilities. Whittle leaps out and ferociously bites a random enemy, dealing enormous damage. She then leaps back into the formation, where her vampiric bite heals her and everyone affected by vampiric gaze for an amount equal to her own max health. So this is going to fully top her off. One little nibble gets it done. A nibble dabble do you, I guess. And everyone else is going to get healed for the same amount that she has. Now, this is when you hit the ultimate. So if you are in a situation where, say, the people in the back for some reason are getting, AoE'd down, you could move her back, hit the ultimate, pop that heal, move her back forward. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's a bit of manual play, but otherwise she's best situated, because she's healing for her own health, she's best for healing other squishies like herself. She's not going to top your tank off. But she'll heal all the squishies. All right. Item-wise, para damage all champions. We get a vampiric gaze buff. Again, everything funnels into that, so that's fine. Tasty Friends, that's the speed item. Yes, I know it's a chair, but trust me, it just makes you look extra tasty. Ultimate attack, ultimate cooldown. Feats, all along the same lines. Damage all champions. Vampiric gaze, lots of them. There's a hurry up now. There's Tasty Friends. This is what you want for speed. Hurry up now, obviously, for attacking. And then a con feat. Again, con feats. Con +1 is usually, just look over here. Vajra requires 14, so that means that qualifies her for Vajra. All right. Nahara's up next. Nahara joins us from the Black Dice Society. Female, Aasimar, Reborn Aasimar, Warlock Bard, Chaotic Neutral, DPS, Speed. Hey, we're 3 for 3 so far on the Speed Champions. This one, though, DPS Speed, which is a little rarer in this game. In fact, is she the only one currently? She might be the only one currently. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head now. Alright. Witch Bolt, I'm going to talk about the base attack here because she's a DPS. The others, Nahara attacks a random enemy and every enemy that she already hit with a bolt of energy. Now, obviously, if it's your first attack, you're just attacking one thing, but it's a random enemy. So you attack random enemy 1, and then on your next attack, you attack random enemy 2 because random. But it attacks random enemy 2 and random enemy 1 at the same time. There is a scenario where you can have 100 enemies on the screen, and she's attacking all 100 enemies every time she fires. It's wild. Nahara can be real wild. Now, you don't necessarily want to get to that point, because that means she doesn't have the damage to kill anything. But it's fun to watch. And sometimes, that's all that matters. She has a passive ability called Beloved by Strahd. Nahara is eligible to start in all Strahd patron adventures, even if the variant restrictions would say otherwise. So Nahara goes everywhere in Strahd patron stuff. And we got some other things that go along with that later. But just know, Nahara, eligible for all Strahd. All Strahd. Hashtag all Strahd. First ability, Who Am I? Nahara recovers a bit of her lost memory as she adventures. If Nahara is in the formation when you complete an area for the first time, and that doesn't mean like, oh, you can only do it once per adventure. That just means like you can't back up and then complete area 1 again and then move forward, like as you're progressing through. She gets a small damage bonus, very small. It stacks additively, and those bonuses persist through resets. So she is a permanently stacking champion that boosts her own damage. There is no cap on this, but it is a percent bonus, so it is serious diminishing returns, right? But it is a forever ability. So currently I'm at, I've got 2 EO6 fragments. I haven't tried to build this so much, and my damage bonus is, in the EO6 range. It's nice. You could run her in formations and build this up super high, but again, diminishing returns with a small number to start. To Muse or Revenge. When Nahara attacks and defeats at least one enemy, she gains a levity stack, and these stacks cap at 30. When she attacks and doesn't defeat an enemy, she loses a levity stack. So she gets a damage bonus for each stack she has below 30. And at the start of each area, she reduces the area requirements by 2% for each levity stack above 15. So here's the way this works. I know there's a lot going on here. It might be confusing to people. If you're not killing things, she buffs her own damage so that hopefully you can kill things. When you are killing things, she buffs your speed. So, when you're killing things instantly, she has no levity stacks, and she reduces the area requirements. Like we see, we're at 17. We only need to defeat 17 instead of 25. So she dropped it by 8. Yay. So that's how her speed effect works. But once you get to the point where you stop killing things, the area requirements start moving back to normal, but she starts doing more damage. More damage. Alright, that is her speed effect. So her speed effect only works at the early part of a run. Some champions will work the entire run. Hers is only while you're killing quickly. So when you stop killing quickly, her speed effect turns off. Strong Society. Nahara gets 400% damage bonus for each other Black Dice Society affiliation member in the formation, stacking multiplicatively. That's the good way. So she really wants to run with her crew. They're all in the game, so you can get a full set. There's 7 champions in this group, so that's most of a formation, and that's a good number of multiplicative stacks. It's a good number of multiplicative stacks. That's what she likes. That's her best case scenario. All right, specializations. We got it all across the board. A grave experience, a Barovian bond, or a skilled liar. So a grave experience is when you're trying to farm those Who Am I stacks. So you'll get triple credit for every area. So if what you're doing is runs where you're basically, maybe you've got her in your speed run, like your gem farm formation, you want her in this so that she's also stacking up her permanent damage buff. Okay. We're going to jump over here, a skilled liar. Now, maybe you're fine with the number of stacks she has. Maybe you're like, my Who Am I stacks are fine. I want a bigger area reduction. I want her to make my party faster. That's the right hand. That's a skilled liar. So area reduction into Amuse or Revenge is increased by 50%. Now, she was already reducing by 8. So that means she'll take it up to 12. Take it by 12. So we would go to a 13 needed if we click this. That's nice. Again, depending on what you're trying to do with her. And a Barovian bond plays off her ability to do all Strahd stuff. So Strong Society, that's that multiplicatively stacking ability, gets a 400% increase. Nice. And Black Dice Society members can be used if Strahd is currently the patron. So not only does she go to all Strahd stuff, but if you pick this middle spec, she can bring the entire Black Dice Society with her. And running a full Black Dice Society formation is her best use case scenario because of that multiplicatively stacking buff she gets for that. So Barovian Bond is fantastic. So is the Black Dice Society for clearing Strahd. If you want to run a single team through all kinds of Strahd stuff and not really have to change your formation up too much based off restrictions, because they'll ignore them all, a Barovian Bond lets you just run right through it. Lets you run right through it. All right. I went with the speed one because why not? There you go. 13 enemies defeated at the top right. So a nice, healthy chunk of speed effect going on there. Last thing is Form of Dread. This is her ultimate. Nahara takes off into the air and channels the power of her patron, Azalin Rex, for 15 seconds. Her damage is increased by 1,000% while in this form, and any enemy she hits has a 50% chance of being stunned for 2 seconds. So, this is 15 seconds of, I want to do more damage, and I'm going to throw out some crowd control. Here's what it looks like. So big flaming wings and the rotating thing above her head, glowy eyes, and more damage. And then when she sinks back down, it's done. Also, that the buff for Thellora, it is, you can tell, the effect is her eyes glow. It is, because her eyes are not glowing. And if I do this, when she comes back, and now her eye is glowing. It's when she gets back in the formation, you'll see. Right here. Look. Glowy eye. Glowy eye. Not super identifiable, but that is a thing. Alright. Item-wise, pair of self-damage items, because she's a DPS. Why not? This is the buffing the effect of her permanently stacking ability. This is increasing the damage of Amuse or Avenge. Damage. This does not change her speed. You cannot change her speed with. She doesn't have item support for her speed. This increases the damage of her attacks in her form of Dread. So this is basically like an ultimate damage item. And this is her ultimate cooldown item. Feat-wise, self-damage. We can buff that stacking ability. We can buff the damage of Amuse or Avenge. Constitution +2. That gets her into Vajra. Strength +1. Strength +1. Oh, it's already assigned. I'm like, but she's already at 10. That gets her into Zerial. I'm like, but she already has 10. It's because I have it slotted in. So yeah, nothing else to affect her speed. That's just the specialization. Specialization affects her speed. Okay. Let's talk about Jang Sao. Female Satyr, Druid Wizard, neutral, healing and support. Healing and support. Probably one of the cooler art additions to the game. Really like her art. First ability, Mysterious Wanderer. She increases damage of all champions in formation slots with 2 or fewer adjacent slots. This is real finicky. 2 or fewer adjacent slots. In this formation, that means either the back or the front. And that's it. So Jang Sao's buff is really formation layout dependent, because some formations she's not going to fit well into, because she's just not. Or you're going to have to really move things around. Like I would have to move some stuff around at least, like to make sure that Nahara's in the back and Whittle's adjacent to her and whatever. So no, it's very specific. Now she does have a feat for this. Where is it? The Greater Journey, increases the targeting of Jang Sao's Mysterious Wanderer ability to now target formation slots with 3 or fewer adjacent slots. This would make that feat. It is a gem feat, 50,000 gem feat, or a cash. That would mean I could then put Nahara here or here in this formation, but not in any of these other slots. This would work. So with a feat, you can free it up a little bit, but it's costing you a feat slot, right? Might be worth it. Star Collector. Each time an enemy is defeated, there is a 1% chance it drops a star. Jang Sao collects these stars and increases the effect of Mysterious Wanderer by 1% for each star collected over all adventures, stacking additively. This caps at a ridiculously high amount. Not because they're like, hey, go cap this, but because they just don't want it to get super problematic in the future. Something they should have done with other stacking champions when they came out. But hey, they're learning. They're learning. Aren't we all? So this is a permanently stacking ability, just like Nahara. Except it's affecting her buff, right? Her buff to other people instead of her self-damage. There is a way to gather more. There's a spec choice. We'll talk about it. But yeah, 1% to chance to drop a star means out of every 100 enemies you kill, you might get a star. Might. There's no pity protection. There's no bad luck protection. There's no pity timer. Every 100, you might get it. Okay. Now I want to be clear. They recently adjusted Jang Sao so she's supposed to work better in background parties. But please keep in mind, background simulations are usually going aren't usually literally tracking every kill. And when you're already doing it and might do 100, might get 1 out of 100 when you throw it in the background, slow. Slow is the term. So the best way to stack up someone like Jang Sao is the same as, like, say, a Zorbu and a Toragar and a Dahani. You want them in an active party with speed effects running and some way to have enemies streaming in. I found that for her, just specifically, because she has an achievement based around this, Mad Wizard on a level with a portal spawn, and click damage works, because it doesn't matter how they're defeated. And she ramped up real fast, with speed potions, 10x speed, and goes real fast. But yeah, if you're trying to go super high on her stacks, highly recommend efficient use of your time, which means throwing a bunch of those stacking champions in the formation, so that everybody's stacking up at the same time, or at least attempting to. Stellar Nursery, this is a healing effect. Every 5 seconds, Jang Sao heals the 2 most damaged champions in the formation for an amount that varies. So this means, she can drop heals anywhere in the party, but they have to be damaged. They have to have taken damage for her to heal them. So it's not a constant healing effect like we're seeing over here, just pulsing out. It's only going to come out when people are damaged. All right. First set of spec choices: Wisdom of the Ages and Speed of Shooting Stars. So Wisdom of the Ages, Jang Sao increases the effect of the Mysterious Wanderer by 100% for each champion in the formation with a Wisdom of 13 or higher, and it stacks multiplicatively. Speed of Shooting Stars, same thing, but for Dex 15 or higher. So you're looking to buff either high Wisdom or high Dex, or based on high Wisdom or high Dex. This is an easy one. You're picking the higher number. We're at a tie, ironically. But you're picking the higher number on the bottom, because this isn't targeting these people. It's just buffing based off the number of them. So super flexible. Just pick the higher number. Second set of spec choices. We get Moon Collector, Star Caller, or Night Runner. Moon Collector is the one that you're going to choose if you're trying to farm star stacks. Because in addition to collecting stars, Jang Sao will then also collect moons. Each time an enemy is defeated, there's a 0.5% chance it drops a moon. So that's 1 in 200 enemies. Jang Sao collects these moons for the purpose of Star Collector, and they count as 5 stars. 5 stars. 5-star rating right there. Moon Collector, folks. Use it. Use it for your star collecting. So yeah, if you're just using her and trying to stack up stars, as many stars as possible, you want to run Moon Collector. Star Caller, Jang Sao fires 3 more stars from her lantern when she uses her Starry Form ultimate, and the ultimate's damage debuff is multiplied by the number of stars fired total, stacking additively. This is neat. We haven't talked about her ultimate yet, but it's basically a way to help stack up more stars on a run. This is kind of cool. It does make that debuff bigger. Neat. When are you going to use it? Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet with Jang Sao. It's kind of a situation. You're going to have to compare it to Night Runner. Jang Sao increases the effect of Star Collector by a percentage equal to the number of stars she's collected on the current run. If you're doing a deep run and killing lots of stuff, Night Runner makes a lot of sense. If you're not, maybe Star Caller then. Maybe then just Star Caller. And again, Moon Collector is for actually trying to collect lots of them. Okay. I'm going to go Night Runner because I don't know. Just why not? I'm not going to kill a lot of people here, but it is a way that with Night Runner you could pause at some point, farm it up, and have a solid buff if you want, right? There is the potential there. Painter of Beauty. Now this is another new ability, and love it or hate it. Love it or hate it, because it requires having access to things that maybe not everybody has a lot of, but eventually you might have a ton of. It's a long-term potential here. For every pigment assigned to equipment on champions in the formation, There's a lot going on there. The effect of the Mysterious Wanderer is increased by 10%, stacking multiplicatively. Pigments can be purchased in the Thayan Enclave shop and sometimes claimed as season rewards. Yes, this is the thing. They're very limited. One of these options, the Thayan Enclave, you can throw cash at, so hence why some people are, upset about this. But ultimately, it's a thing that eventually, long term, you're going to have pigments all over. Pigments are a more recent thing in terms of the Idle Champions history. So within the last year or so, they've introduced pigments. And pigments are basically a buff that you apply to items. There's 4 different types of pigments. They're Nolzur's Marvelous Pigments. This is a D&D item. So, in Nolzur's Marvelous Pigments, there's 4 jars of paint. So we have 4 different types of pigments in the game. One is a DPS pigment, one is a support pigment, one is a tanking pigment, and one is a healing pigment. We have yet to see the healing arrive in the game at any point, but we've now seen the other 3. We have. Yes, we have. Tanking, we've only seen show up once, so I have to double check myself for a second. They each apply a different buff, and the only way you can apply them to an item is if the champion has that role. So Jang Sao could get healing pigments and support pigments, and they would show up. You could apply one of each. So this is just, how many do you have? And it's going to look at that. So early on, for a lot of people, this isn't going to do anything. But on a more established account, in the future, this could provide a solid buff. But right now, it's not really doing a whole lot. Just so you're aware. Ultimate. Speaking of the ultimate, Starry Form. Jang Sao transforms into her Starry Form for 15 seconds and fires shooting stars at her enemies, making them take 100% additional damage for the duration. So the double damage isn't a huge thing. I mean, it might come in handy every now and then, but it's these stars. Watch, look at them go. And you're going to pick those up, right? They're going to shoot out at each of the enemies. They're going to get tagged. They're going to get debuffed. And yeah, yay for shooting stars, and a really cool visual effect over here. All right, item-wise, it's all specific. You get an item for Mysterious Wanderer. You get one for Star Collector. You get one for Stellar Nursery. You get one for Painter of Beauty. You get one for her first set of spec choices, and you get one for her ultimate cooldown. So incredibly efficient itemization for Jang Sao. Feat-wise, damage all champions, Mysterious Wanderer, Star Collector, Stellar Nursery, Painter of Beauty. Again, the first spec choices. Emerging Artist increases the damage of all champions by 40% for each pigment applied to Jang Sao specifically, but stacks additively. The most this could be is 12. But that means at 12, this feat could provide 480% buff. Which feats don't usually do that, folks. So at some point, Emerging Artist could be a very nice feat. Very nice feat. Again, we talked about the one that expands Mysterious Wanderer. Yeah. Nothing about earning more stars or anything, though. Just to be clear. All right, finally, we're going to talk about Brother Uriah, or as he currently is, Brother Uriah. If you'll note, there's quotes around Brother Uriah at the moment. There's a reason for that. Those quotes are going to go away at some point, but at the moment, they're there. We'll talk about why that is. Brother Uriah is also from the Black Die Society. In fact, he and Nahara are a husband and wife. Male human cleric, lawful good, healing and support. So, base ability Doomed in Darkon. Brother Uriah increases damage of all champions in his column and the column behind him. So, in this formation, we would want something like this. Something like this. So, Brother Uriah would then buff Nahara, because same column and column behind. Whittle would buff Nahara. Jang Sao would be buffing a champion with next to, in a formation slot with no more than two adjacencies. God, it's so confusing sometimes. But yeah, So it would look more like this. It would look more like this if I were trying to be efficient, but I'm not. But I'm not. I'm just trying to lay them out like a little party wandering along. Ezra's Embrace, brother. Oh, look, now we're back to normal, Brother Uriah. Brother Uriah heals all champions within 2 slots for an amount of health. This is the constantly pumping thing. The effect is increased by 25% for each formation slot containing a dead champion or an escort stacking additively. Now, dead champion here, some people are like, wait, he heals more after they die? What is he, a necromancer? No. There are champions in this game that count as dead even when they are active in your party. One of whom, at least, is in this group, and that's Veronica. If you have dead people, or you have escorts, that's when they put those someone that utterly and completely useless, like that hack Volo, in your formation. He'll heal more because he knows you need it. He knows you need it. Yeah. This also synergizes well with Desmond. Desmond has a similar ability about dead people and escorts, but it buffs damage. So the two of them in groups with dead people and escorts, you cover damage and you cover healing, right? In the grip of Azalin Rex. After 100 normal attacks by champions in the formation, so total attacks across the formation, Azalin Rex takes over Brother Uriah for 60 seconds. While controlled by Azalin Rex, Brother Uriah increases the damage of Nahara and all evil champions by a large amount. This is what the quotation marks are, folks. Right now, Brother Uriah. Oh, no, now we're back to Brother Uriah. This is actually Brother Uriah, but when the quotes come up, it's Azalin Rex in Brother Uriah's body. Okay. So that's how you know, in here, when Azalin Rex has taken over. So if you are using so really, I know he buffs damage of all champions in his column and column behind him, but you get a boost if the DPS is Nahara or an evil champion. So Brother Uriah actually a better buffer for either Nahara as part of the Black Die Society or evil DPS. Evil DPS. So this is just a normal thing. Now we can go deeper. We can either read from the Book of Exalted Deeds or read from the Book of Vile Darkness. Exalted Deeds, basically undead and fiends become his favored foes, and all champions deal an additional amount of damage to them, and that varies. But then Brother Uriah becomes part of that favored foe family. There are a lot of champions in the game who like favored foes, and and trigger things based off someone having favored foes. Book of Exalted Deeds can create that. Vile Darkness increases the effect of In the Grip of Azalin Rex. So if you are running Nahara DPS or you are running an evil DPS, this could be a nice damage boost. This could be a nice damage boost to everything. It is lower. You'll notice for me, it's like around 700%. Over here, it's around 1400%. But this 1400% would only be on favored foes, whereas this would be on everything. So depending on what type of DPS you're running or what scenario you're facing, who's in your formation, you're going to pick. Okay, you actually have to think about this one, folks. You got to pick between the two. I'm running Nahara DPS, so I'm going to run as much Azalin Rex as possible. Ultimate Blade Barrier. Brother Uriah creates a wall of whirling, razor-sharp blades of magical energy and sends them flying across the area. The blades come to a stop a short distance in front of the formation, forming a barrier that lasts for 10 seconds. Each time an enemy passes through the barrier, they take ultimate damage. Now, the each time is important because they could walk through it, and then you could knock them back with somebody, and then they could walk through it again. Right? Here's what it looks like. It goes all the way out, and then it sits. Now, this says The blades come to a stop a short distance in front of the formation. It's a lie, folks. It's a dirty, filthy liar. They sit basically on, as you saw, they sit on that place where enemies can first start taking damage. A short distance would be over here. A short distance would be over here. So no, the text lies to you. It's a dirty, rotten liar. Go with what you visually see, and it's gonna throw it up all the way over here. Okay, it's gonna throw it up all the way over there. Blah. Kind of like Nahara. Item-wise, damage of all champions, then Doomed and Darkon, Ezra's Embrace, in the grip of Azalin Rex. So they really want you to be evil. Really want you to go evil. Then we get spec choices, which is nice. This is so you can affect all those spec choices, and then ultimate cooldown. Ultimate. I just saw the name of it. Uriah and Van Richten, BFFs. Uriah, why are you hanging out with a hack? I'm asking for a friend. Feat-wise, damage all champions, Doomed and Darkon. We get Ezra's Embrace, and Azalin Rex. Multiple Azalin Rex. So you can just go all in. Here's the increases the effect of in the grip of Azalin Rex. This increases the duration that it's running, so it can last longer. Now because remember, it triggers usually off 100 attacks, and then it lasts for a certain duration. I think I have these in, so we're lasting for quite a while, longer than normal. Let me look at the normal. Normally it's 20 seconds. So when you add the feats in, it gets to 60 seconds, which I like. But if you have people attacking very quickly, like say, hey, I've got Whittle in here, and if that's getting to 100 in 20 seconds, which would be wild, but if it does, you don't need these feats. But you can fine-tune this, so the point to make it so that he's always in the grip of Azalin Rex, potentially, which means you're always in max damage. Faithful Reward is cool. This is one of those I wish some other champions had, so you can increase Ezra's Embrace to heal targets within 3 slots. I like it when they add in cool feats that extend a range of abilities. So this just, you can heal more people in the party. I like that. I like that a lot. And that's it, folks. That's all 5 of our champions. Oh, I think I'll probably get turn progress back on, because now we got them all leveled up. And hey, we're right on time. So these are the Idle Champions presents 6 Fatebreaker champions. I know there's 5 champions, but it's Idle Champions presents 6. It's the 6th major Idle Champions presents. So we're going to take a short break. The song on the break is A Whittle Bit Evil. I think you can guess who that's for. When we come back, we'll hit up the questions doc. I'm only seeing like 7 questions in here, folks. We got an hour. Hit me up, or else I'm just going to, talk randomly. I don't do one-man shows. This is not Dev Insights. But, hit me up with the questions. We'll be back in a minute.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay. Let's do it. This could be it.
She's a little bit evil, a little bit good. She's a little bit sneaky, little misunderstood. Running away from her crimes like a spider she climbs. She's a little bit hero, a little bit villain too. She's a little bit scary, but way faster than you. No matter where you run, she'll be there pointing a gun. She's a tinker and a thinker, a wizard with her tools, a widow of an evil, and she suffers no fools. She's a little bit devil, dread domains woe, very quick on her feet while misleading her foes. But after the vampire's attack, her heart was turned black. She stepped out of time and stole the devil's rod. Then she dropped her to rest on top of a god. She saved a friend with a pack. Now there's no turning back. She's a tinker and a thinker, a wizard with her tools, a widow of the evil, and she suffers no fool. She's a hound in the night, and a tempest bite. For a friend she will find. She's what goes bump in the night. She keeps her soul from running aground. With her friends and allies she's found. She battles devils below and the gods above. She's dying to save the one she loves. She's a tinker and a thinker, a wizard with her tools, a widow of evil, and she suffers no fool. She's a hound in the night, and a tempest bite. For her friend she will fight. She's what goes bump in the night. Yeah, we did it.
It's so good. I'm so happy with it.
It feels good.
I'm not going to brag, but I picked two really good songs for today. Granted, I mean Whittle is in this party, so of course that's why she is. We don't have songs for any of these other people, though, unfortunately. But the final song will be for a champion who made an appearance during Fatebreaker. For a champion who made an appearance during Fatebreaker. All right, I'm gonna go back and hit up the question. It's kind of on topic. The Lurking Rider asks, considering your near stumble with Thelora's ability names, do you want the llama skin for her? No. No, but I think we need a llama champion. Yeah. Rider 1995, what's your opinion on how centaurs wear pants? What are pants? That's the comment. That's the canonical response. The Lurking Rider, during the Fatebreaker after show, there was a discussion of multiversal variants of Whittle. Do you think we should have an ICP or a one-shot spin-off of this? And what do you think of the name Whittle Champions? Here's the problem. It would be a one-woman show because she plays all of those characters. She plays Whittle, Riddle, and Squiddle. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how well that would work. Unless she, gave everybody permission to play her other characters, and that would be weird. It would feel weird watching somebody else play one of your characters. Feels like. Valamar Night Road, is there an ideal ratio of areas to favor for Thellora to aim for? Travel 600 areas, have E100, you always rush 100. I mean, as long as, here's the ideal situation is where you have more rush stacks than your equal to or more or greater than, you have rush stacks equal to or greater than your favor exponent. That's the ideal situation. You just want to make sure you're always rushing the max amount of areas you can. You know, ultimately she's, you know, it's gonna depend on, do you have the feed or not, and what's your favor exponent, yada yada yada, right? Yeah. The only time you really get into like trying to find ideal situations for Thellora is when you're Briv gem farming. You really have to figure out, you really have to get your favor to the right place, and you need to make sure you're getting the correct, the correct number of stacks, which is where the feat comes in. Because if she's off, if things are off and she jumps to the wrong place, it screws up a Briv gem farm. But a regular gem farm doesn't care. Regular gem farm, much easier. Just put her in and enjoy the extra gems. Overtime. Dilettante for the win. What is the ideal number of lost memory fragments on Nahara, and do they cap? I don't know if there is an ideal number. I mean, you're talking about diminishing returns. And whenever you deal with diminishing returns, it's kind of subjective as to what people want. Like, how do you rate where the best place on the curve? Because it's kind of like diminishing returns curve to me. It looks like kind of like this, and where you kind of then start plateauing, and then it's just, and then it doesn't matter anymore. Where do you think is the ideal place on that curve to be like, oh, I'm done? Oh, it's going to vary, right? You know, some people would say the lowest number that gets you up here without having to go all the way up. Other people would be like right before it plateaus. I don't know. All I know is I can say it's not tuned super well currently. There needs to be like a Black Die Society season so that she can get some buffage. She can get some buffage because they don't scale super well. So that's one of the reasons I haven't put a ton of time into it. As far as do they cap, there's no cap stated. I wish they would go in and cap, just like they did with Jang Sao, cap every stacking champion at a super high amount, just to prevent breakage. There's a situation where Zorbu breaks the game if you get his stacks too high. I don't think they fixed that. They are aware. Well, I tried to make them aware, as did lots of people, but I don't know if they went in, and I didn't see any notes about the season about, hey, go in and we went in and put a cap on Zorbu. It may have happened and not just been referenced. I know I brought it up when during conversations about those champions and how to potentially, and what they might need for the season. I know I specifically said Zorbu needs a hard cap so he doesn't break people's accounts. Don't know if it happened. That's everything that's even remotely on topic. The Thora first. My Turn of Fortune's Wheel adventures do not show up to play. Is there a prerequisite for this area? Yeah, but if you've accessed Light of Xerxes, you've met the prerequisite. I would say patch. Make sure you patch and then that you're like forcing and check files. Like Steam has a, check files thing, like verify files. Like there's something that's not loading those adventures in. This is my I guess weekly reminder to restart your client regularly. Some people just leave it on constantly and then miss patches. Because it doesn't patch stuff doesn't patch in until you restart your client. But then sometimes things break, so I don't know. If it's still after you've restarted everything and verified files, if you're on Steam, then submit a ticket because it should be there. It should be right here, and you should have a thing here. And then after doing this thing, it should come over here, and then you got a thing here. Should be. Also, make sure you don't have a patron active. If you have a patron active, nothing's gonna show up because you haven't done anything yet. So yeah, that's also a reminder to do that. Ragnarok, is there any point of having 6 familiars in your background parties and or speed champions? If you're like me and you have an offensive amount of familiars, you can throw 6 in your background party for reasons of like I use my background parties for patrons specifically, and so throwing 6 in a background party with patrons, here if we swatch over here, means that I'm going to complete those patron chores that say, hey, kill a bunch of distractions. Otherwise, no. If I'm on a new player account and I'm building out a minimal patron, run for the background just for the farm, just to try to get whatever kind of things I can get done in the background. I really think this is personally, I feel the best case scenario for background parties is minimal groups that just passively farm up patron challenges each week, so you don't have to grind them, and then you do all your active stuff in your active party. To me, this is the best. So doing things like that. But if I'm doing a minimal group on a new account, then what I've got is one here, and I'm getting away with 3 familiars. And the reason you put 1 on the field is so that when the party when you first restart the run, the familiar will be guaranteed on area 1 to be providing enough damage for you to progress and get gold and load in your other champions. That's it. It's just it's a stopgap to prevent your formation, stopping progress. And that's it. But when I have a lot of them, then I throw all this stuff out because distractions with the 6th one, and then ultimates, sometimes that's a chore. So I just save my formations with all of this in it. But it doesn't mean that, that everybody has to, right? But yeah, I like that passive completion of my patron stuff in the background. I like that a lot. This is why we keep. Let's just do this. I'm in a place because I need it undead, but I got to remember that this is the wrong place to get undead because it always stops the party because the zombie T-Rex sucks. Actually, I should move it back up here. Yeah, it's fine. I just put together that you're the guy whose guide I'm following. That's that's what this show is for, folks. They gave me these shows. I'm an independent contractor. I do not work directly for Codename Entertainment. They gave me these shows because I make guides for that, and I've been making guides for this game for over 6 years. Yeah, I should fix that one too. But I have one out for new players. It's called the New Player Reference, and it's highly recommended by new players. By new players and old alike, because the old ones used it too when they started. Strider X, can we see some glitch Ashara meta formations? I don't have the glitch feats. I mean, I could. It's going to make it hard because I'm going to look at it and I'm going to go, why isn't it counting? And Ashara meta? I mean, it's possible. She's still okay. But I would argue that there's probably a lot better scenarios out there anymore. Who's in the glitch? So we got some new skins this week, folks. But it's not just about the skins. It's about the feats that come with them. So you get a glitch Calliope. Now, the skin is adorable. But the feat is what matters. She now count. You can slot a feat to make her count as a Harengon. You can slot a feat on Freely to make him count as an Aasimar. You can slot a feat on Havilar to make her count as a half-elf. Along with what she currently runs with. And then you can slot a feat on Nayeli to make her count as a Gith Yankee, and on Orkira to make her count as a half-elf. There's also now, for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, because they kind of hit it, there's also a Birdsong feat that makes her count as a Warforged. It's part of the weekend chest pack. So it's the sweetener, so you could grab that for $4.99 if you want, a skin and a feat. And 3 weekend chests for $4.99 that's actually a deal. It's a pretty good deal. And because you're adding races to what people count like, that's what people count as, that's going to change up Ashara formations quite a bit. I feel like that would take, after they've added a bunch of these more of these glitch, then maybe that's an idea for a future tutorial show, because that would take a while to go through all of the different possible combinations. And right now there's 6. But potentially more coming in the future, right? Because this whole glitch thing is part of the Planescape campaign book, so we could be seeing a lot of glitch things in the future. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I have a guide to Ashara, and it basically explains it. I mean, here's the question I think we would have to find out, and again, I don't have any glitch feats to be able to test, is when they're counting as both, does it actually help her? It should count as both in... Does it give double credit if it's in the same thing? Because she has 2 different specializations. I'm trying to think. Is it gonna double up? It's not gonna help much. What you'd be looking for is like potpourri. Is it gonna give double credit in potpourri to get that one? Because if you're using her as DPS, you're running potpourri, and then some of the other stuff isn't gonna matter. And then probably there's multiple half elf ones, so that probably makes it easier to run half and half. But yeah, I think it just means you're going to be able to slot, like Orkira is going to count as Dragonborn and half elf, so it's probably just going to make you building a potpourri half and half Ashara formation easier. I don't know that anything really changes out of my Ashara meta tutorial show, because I didn't go through like every possible combination. I just said here's how you're building it, because this is what you have to look for. Ashara doesn't necessarily change herself. You just get more options if you have these feats. Pathalo42 asks, and I answered this in chat, but I'll answer here too. What skin would you give Xander? For those who don't know, Xander is a support champion in the slot 5. And yes, I know it says speed, but no. He's a support champion in slot 5. And he does have a speed effect, but it functions off him throwing a dagger at someone and missing. Say Xander backstabs a random important. Oh, well, backstabbing. Unfortunately, he doesn't always exactly hit them. So he has a 33% base chance to miss stabbing somebody in the back. And I mean, I thought he threw them. Dang it. Because I always said juggling pins, and I want him to throw like juggling pins. But yeah, no, maybe he stabs them, but it's like a rubber. He has like a rubber dagger or something. I don't know. I said a jester with juggling pins, and that would be funny. They just shove it in their back and doesn't do anything because he missed. He's got weird mechanics. He's a fine support champion. He's garbage speed. Here's the thing. He's garbage speed. I say he's garbage speed because his speed effect isn't. Well, there's a couple reasons. One of them, his speed effect is not useful for gem farming. It kicks in late in your run. Also, super low chance of you actually activating the speed effect. So even though it has item support, it's like, who cares? There's other champions out there that are just a bajillion times better for speed effects. For the 42 again, and if that wasn't a Monty Python themed skin, which Monty Python skin would you give him? I don't know. I've seen the Monty Python movies maybe once. It wasn't they weren't a thing when I was growing up where I lived. It's the best way I can explain it. Most people get exposed to that when they're younger, or someone that loves Monty Python shares it with them, and I didn't have that. So I saw them when I was older. I saw them each like once, and yeah. The main thing I remember is like you get in a fight, the knight that gets in a fight and his arms are cut off, right? Like that's hilarious. Well, not, but that's more of a. We have another champion in the game that rips people's arms off and beats them with it. And then with the bunny. So yeah, I just didn't see them. I didn't get to see them. Now, if we want to talk about like Spaceballs themed skins, we want to talk like a Spaceballs themed skin. Maybe we could come up with that. And then he'd probably be Colonel Sanders, and he'd be wielding a rubber chicken. Yeah. Rough Rider in 1995. Can we spend any bonus time working on the hidden code? There's nothing to work on that I'm aware of. Oh, there was kind of an update. What did they say? Sean gave us a hot and cold rating, and anything around Hitch is cold, and anything around the newsletter is cold. So, so one of the kind of things that I was taking the envelope emoji to mean a reference to the newsletter. Not it. So we can get rid of that whole line of thought of the newsletter as a possible thing. Which is good. That's narrowing things down. But that still means that we don't really know what the envelope means. Somebody said it could just literally mean letter. Yeah, it could, but I still don't know. I still know how that helps. We gotta then, translate the rest of the emojis. For those who don't know, you can track this stuff in the tavern. Then if you click on the tavern, there is a thread that's off of that called Cracking the Hidden Combinations. We have one hidden combination from 2023 left. Yeah. And there's like an emoji string that is our hint. There's an emoji string it's a rebus puzzle, for those who know what a rebus puzzle is. So basically you put a bunch of pictures together and it's supposed to mean a phrase. We're trying to figure out what that phrase is. And we don't. We're on the right track with, hold on. Where's the on the right track? So it is a I don't have the picture easy to share. So it starts off with a parrot, and then it has an envelope, and then it has a gold medal with a number 1 on it, and then it's a clock with both hands pointing at 12, and then it's the number 4, and then a minus sign, and then an infinity symbol, and then a green circle. And so I had said I had kind of interpreted that along. Oh, god dang it! I can't find my explanation again. Oh, here we go. I had kind of initially interpreted that to mean 4 minus forever, which is, infinity meaning forever, would mean ever. But it could mean either ever or not ever, because the minus sign would still be in there because of the order of operations. Don't know which. And then the green circle signifying that the last section just means evergreen. So, and that the medal and clock I read is first time or one time. And Trevor had responded to that with a railroad track, meaning we assume on the right track. So the parts we might know is that part of this is evergreen and part of it is first time or one time. But what really is confusing is that we had supposedly already gotten all of the codes related to champions. So, I don't know. I don't understand if it makes, with the evergreen in there, it makes me think that we're talking about a champion, but we were supposed to have already done all the champion codes. Yeah. So it's confusing. We need, I guess Sean did a couple of hot or cold clues, and I guess we should have asked, is it related? I mean, just for confirmation, is it a champion related code? Because if it is, then they're filthy liars. They've thrown us off the track, and we're confused because it's a champion code. Because with evergreen in there, it makes me think that it's a champion code, but I don't know. Anyway, keep up on that over there. We only have a few weeks left in the streaming calendar, folks, because CNE is going to go on vacation in December, second half of December. So we got to get our clues in while we can. We got to get them to give us clues. And I think they said they're not giving any more. They weren't supposed to be giving any more clues out until December. So, Flamebeard, I need someone in seat 7 for Split Party 2. Got Jim already. Who do you recommend the new champion be? What can you tell me about them? So 7. So you have Minsk and Jim. There's a lot of options here, but I'm going to go ahead and shout out my girl, Caddy Bree. Caddy Bree. She's the one I've got right here. Now, there are some other options. Freely has been historically pretty good. Lucius has a lot of fans. Egbert is kind of great for like gold farming stuff. But Caddy Bree recently was in a season and is in a fantastic place. She is a DPS aura support, and in my opinion, she does great at both. Yeah. Her stuff is around crits, and she's the person who can have super high crit chance and super high crit bonus damage, and she can share that with the party via her ultimate. So she just makes her a great either DPS or support, so super flexible. Super flexible and fairly flexible positioning. She just wants to be behind your DPS if she's a support. So anywhere behind the DPS works. All right. Jorthonis, what is the best source for free speed potions? What? I mean, you spend your gems on chests and you open the chests. Is that what we're talking about? That's really it. I mean, that's how I get all of mine. I don't know if that doesn't. I mean, I don't know if that's what you mean by free, but speed potions are, if you can compare, like we just go one row up, you can see the difference between like how much you use speed potions over everything else. I just buy chests. What color chests? That's up to you. I think there's no reason to buy anything but gold chests, personally. That kind of an in-game, but there are some people who, who will argue otherwise and say, just buy silvers. But I don't. Depends, I guess, what you want. Like, right, you can only get, a gold chest is going to give you green through purple potions. A silver chest is going to give you white through blue, but you're going to be weighted more in the whites and greens and very few of the blues. Whereas with the others, you're going to get lots of greens and some blues and, few of the purples. I feel, for me, the reason I only buy gold chests is that just in gem farming, I already loot thousands of silvers. So for me, opening up just the looted silvers refills a lot of those low-level potions. And then I only spend my gems on gold so that I can fill in some of the higher level potions. Because when I'm running, stuff, I usually just throw in the 2 largest one and I'm good. And then I use the smaller ones for when I'm cycling Modron stuff. There are people, though, you know, it depends on what you're doing too. Like, there are people who Briv Gem farm specifically, trying to create a scenario where they're always earning enough gems to always be able to run like the smaller speed potions, while Briv Gem farming, to never run out, like to constantly resupply themselves. And I feel like that probably relies on opening silvers, but I don't know for sure because I don't do that. But you can ask around for people who are really super into the Briv Gem farming and tweaking it to the very last like gem. Yeah, see what they say. For me, as long as I'm getting enough gems to buy what I want, I'm fine. I'm not trying to get all the gems in the world. Lurking right, if you could pick more glitch champions, who would they be and what would they glitch into? Oh, I don't know about glitching into. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it would be cool if they just... I mean, if you're going to do something like glitch, they're never going to do this because there's too many champions in the game. But just having everything be glitched would be great. Like I said, that's never going to happen. So, because of the way that a glitch feat not only adds a race, but also the glitch feats add a bonus. So it's doing double duty. It's also working as a functional feat for like some kind of bonus. I'd love to see them flesh out some of the champions that don't have lots of feats by giving them a glitch skin and feat, because then at least they're getting another feat. Like, I would go functional like that. That's not the way they do things, though. Clearly. Oh yeah, all glitch into dwarves. I mean, look, if we could have everybody glitch into dwarves, there you go. Then we could finally have some all dwarf parties. But no, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's not the kind of thing like who should get one skin. Well, here's what I know. Every champion needs a pirate skin. This is what I know about skins. Every champion needs a pirate skin. And as far as what kind of champions do we need in the game, more dwarves. And if we can have pirate dwarves, that's an even better, right? But that's when it comes to like skin design or champion design. I mean, we've talked about other skins too. Like we had a whole line of Commodore Crux skins that we came up with. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to deep dive into a single champion and try to figure out what you could do. Sometimes like there's some good themes going around. But at the end of the day, more pirate skins and more dwarves, please, is my general thinking. Looking right says pirates, ninjas, and cats to complete the internet trifecta. Well, the problem with ninja skins is why buy a skin you can't see? And if we made them cat skins, then, I mean, if you actually turn them into cats and they're not like tabaxi, I mean, there you go. That's tabaxi glitches, I guess. Everybody could glitch into a tabaxi. But if they were actual cats, then why would you want that? Why would you want skins that turn them into actual cats? They just lay there and not do anything. They just lay there and not do anything. So, yeah. I don't know. We're out of questions, folks, by the way. If anybody has more questions about the game, it doesn't have to be on today's topic. It can be about anything about Idle Champions. Yeah, I will do my best. Keeping in mind, I'm not a developer of the game. I just know a lot about the game mechanics. I'm amazed we don't have more Halloween skins. Well, they don't really celebrate Halloween in the Forgotten Realms, so they've never really done Halloween style skins. The only reason we have like winter holiday skins is because newsflash, folks, sign up for the newsletter. because over the winter holidays they send out a free skin to everyone, and if you don't have the champion it belongs to, you get the champion too. And their holiday skin, their holiday themed skins. So like Shandy here has her solstice skin that came out via an email. There's a bunch of different kind of winter holiday themed skins that they release. But yeah, they don't really do anything. They've never really done anything for Halloween. It would be neat. I think yeah, it's weird. It's one of the few games that I've played where they don't try to release content themed to real world holidays. So, something around Halloween. I mean, someone as a headless horseman would be cool. A Thellora skin, a headless centaur Thellora skin. Huh? This is a horse woman. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, some kind of themed skins. I mean, people have talked about Love Gnome Zorbu. I mean, yeah, Zorbu as Cupid. Zorbu as Cupid would be hilarious. So I think, I would like to see some, more neat themed stuff, but they've just chosen not to go that way, clearly, over the last 6 years. The only thing they lean into the least bit is the winter holiday skins. Only if she carries a flaming pumpkin. Well, I was thinking of flaming jack-o'-lantern as her head. But, whatever. Flames coming out of it. And they really light up when you hit her ultimate and, flare out. I don't know. Valdemar Night Road, do the psychomorphic energy potions boost speed effects on the speed core? No, they do not. There's no way to boost speed effects. They basically said that would be super broken, so no. It also doesn't, psychomorphic energy potions also don't affect certain other Modron nodes. I think, which ones? Maybe the enemy health reduction, or there's certain ones they don't. Oh, it's the cost reduction things, because then there was a time when it did, and basically leveling up a champion gave you money. So there's certain things they had to turn off. You'd have to ask on Dev Insights for a list of things that it doesn't work on. Yeah. Black Death, where should I open my chests as a returning player? Should I collect characters first? Or when should I open my chest? It depends on the kind of chest, right? If it's like silver, regular silvers and regular golds, pop them, just burn them. If it's if you went through and you did, you entered in all of your, as a returning player, you entered in all of your old newsletter codes. Like if you had signed up for the newsletter and you didn't delete those emails, all those codes are still valid because they never expire. So you can enter them all into your account and get all of that stuff. In those cases, you need to look at who gets gear from that chest. If they're people that, if you have all of them, pop them. If you don't, just recognize that anyone you don't have, you're not going to get gear out of that chest for, and see if that's a character you want or don't care about. I mean, there's an argument that then it focuses gear on people you do care about, right? If it's Electrum chests, in my opinion, like these ones you get from the code, like today's code here, Fatebreaker Recap, which I haven't even put in yet. If it's like Electrums, I think you hold those until an event starts, and once you unlock the new champions, then you drop them. Because that helps you gear up your new champions. And we have an event starting on Wednesday, so if you just want to wait until Wednesday and get the get the champions from the event, and then pop a bunch of chests, that works too. So I mean, there are kind of rules, but the thing is you're not necessarily going to ruin yourself if you just clear them all out, because you're getting other things from them too, and those other things are going to be good, like all of the potions and consumable and things. Regis 2K, are there any feats items in the current Enclave shop you think are worth picking up? Ooh, that's subjective. That's super subjective. So here's the current Than Enclave shop. We have a glitch emergence event going on right now. And so you earn up your corrupted gems, like I'm over 20,000, and you spend them in the shop. For power, here's the general, I'm pretty sure it's a general consensus. For power, you're usually just spending everything on support pigments. Because of the rest of this, the power bonuses are either too small, or... Well, no, they're pretty much just too small. There might be some functionality things you might be able to pick up, but the power bonuses, I mean, that support pigment is a triple damage. A golden anything is just double the power of that item. It's 100% bonus. So 100% bonus is less than 200% bonus. So for power, you tend to be going for Marvelous support pigments. There are cosmetics here, like you can get the Scent Ree skin, because Ree is the content creator who created Sentry. So that makes this Scent Ree, because that's what she looks like, right? There's Cinch, which is Centaur Hitch. That's what I'm going with. There's some old Mind Flayer skins, for visual effect. These, when these go away, eventually, like these are going away in about 6 days, they return as cash shop options. So the skins will return as cash shop options. So if there's a skin you just really enjoy, and you don't, and you're not someone who has the extra disposable income to throw cash at the game, you might want to throw cash at the skin, because it's the only way you can one of two ways you can get free skins in the game, and the other is through the regular gem shop, right? And then the feats will eventually end up, like when they leave, like this one's going to leave in 6 days. Then about 3 months or so after that, it will show up just in the game as a gem feat. So I tend to treat the feats as a preview of what's to come in the future, unless it's something super amazing and I need it right away. These are interesting. These are two good feats for Warden. If I were a Warden main, I might lean towards picking both of those up right now. This is the glitch feat for Sentry, and this is the glitch feat for Cinch. So, if those were major people that you use constantly, you might want to think about that. The chests, currently, I don't lean into at all. I don't recommend at all. At some point, Modron component chests will become a big deal. But that point is when you have support pigments on every single one of your items for every single support champion, which will eventually happen. Support pigments are the most commonly available pigments in the game. So, yeah. Eventually, you won't need these until you get a new support champion, and then you'll grab 6, and then you'll be done. Right? And then you'll use your corrupted gems for other things. Now, when it comes to the golden epics, there are scenarios where you might want to pick up a golden epic. If it's for something that's like a multiplicatively stacking, pre-stack upgrade type of ability feat or ability item, there's an argument that doubling your power there, even though this is a triple, and you're basically paying for 3 of these, you might want that. If it were like a speed feat for somebody, you might want that. Like there's some subjective arguments here. One of the arguments right now that's actually fairly valid, and then I might actually do, since I now have over 20,000, is this Sasaspia Golden Epic. Now, it's an ultimate attack damage golden, which means, like, who cares? However, Sasaspia is in the current season, and right now we are still inside the full dismantle window. And when you full dismantle a champion, if they have a golden item, like Sasaspia does, you get a golden potion that you can then use on any champion. So if I were to pick up, or you or somebody were to pick up the golden thing, you would be getting you could then dismantle right now, if you hadn't dismantled her yet, you'd be able to dismantle her and get a golden potion you could use anywhere else. Well, not anywhere, but a lot of other places, as long as CNE has created a golden for that slot and released it publicly, you should be able to then place a golden potion on it. And what people are using this for is, if they've got a Briv and they don't have the golden for his slot 4, there we go. Now they don't have to wait, because the only way to get the golden slot 4 for Briv otherwise is to get lucky and have it show up in a wild offer. But if you can get a free golden potion like this, a guaranteed golden potion, you can potion this. And that's a big deal for Briv. Also, it's a big deal for Human for their slot 4. It's also a big deal for people who are running Artemis and want the golden flute. Because again, for these 3 champions, the only way to get the goldens is a random wild offer. These potions then are a very big deal for people for this. I have the goldens that I need. I don't know if I would do that golden for I might do the golden potion. And the reason I would do the golden potion is for when they golden the slot 5 on Virgil, so I can get some of those item levels back, because he's a hungry boy when it comes to getting to his cap. So there are reasons why you might want to choose other things than support pigments. Just understand the pros and cons of each of them, and then make your choice. And know that emergence events currently are scheduled to be fairly regular. And there's other ways to get support pigments. Yeah. So right now, I don't know. I'm considering the Cisaspia thing, just because golden potions are hard to come by. Also I have that item shiny. I have that Cisaspia item shiny. So that would also refund me a potion polish if I put a golden epic on it. So it's almost a twofer. That impacts my decisions. But I'm probably not going to do the feats, even though I really like those Warden feats. Probably not going to go for them. But I have picked up a golden in the past. I have picked up a feat in the past. It's just kind of whatever you want. Justin, what are for you the coolest DPS formations champions outside of the meta top 5? Wow. Everybody, here's the thing. Everybody's meta is a little different. I know there's an overarching meta, but because this game functions so personally based off the gear you have and item levels and legendaries and all that kind of things, everybody's like top 5 and stuff are different. God, I don't even know who is the top 5 now. I know Artemis is up there, Krond is up there, and I think Warduke is now up there, mathematically speaking. Those are like top 3. Zorbu was up there, and he just got a nerf, and I'm not sure exactly where he falls now. And then, Ashara was up there for a while. Birdsong's been up there. Catty Bree is solid. So I don't really know what to say. I don't necessarily run I'm just going to run a themed champion. Although here's the thing. I used to run Narak. DPS, and people used to think I did it just because I was trying to be contrary. But no, he actually fit into the meta fairly well in terms of the meta support champions. Because I was running BBEG, and he needs low int, and Narak was low int, so I was running Narak DPS. And then this season they took DPS away from him. So. So right now, I don't even know who my DPS is. I've been trying to lean back into Birdstrong, but Narak still sometimes comes up as top DPS, like super secret DPS for some reason. But I think that's probably, there's a bug in the game that my community refers to as Bud's Buggy. I think he might be coming up that way because of Bud's buggy. What was I? I was looking at somebody else. The Yorvin. I have a lot of fun with Yorvin sometimes when I can remember to throw Yorvin in. He's actually a solid. I think he's a good DPS. I think he's a better DPS than he is a support champion. And I've had a lot of good results using him as a DPS. Who else have I had fun with and like had decent results with? Gromma in her swamp spec is better than you might expect. Better than she has been in the past. She has good supports for her now, and swamp spec is pretty spectacular. Swamp spectacular. Commodore Crux, the big gift boy, is a solid DPS. Shocked the hell out of me because he's like tank DPS and support. And I was like, oh, they just threw DPS in for fun, right? And then one day he was stealing DPS from my actual attempted DPS. So Commodore Crux can be a beefy DPS boy. What I'm trying to say though is there's a lot of fun options. You don't necessarily have to always go meta, and the nice thing about the non-meta options, the meta options like Artemis Krond and Warduke tend to rely on thousands, if not tens of thousands, of item levels across their entire party, which means they're heavy investment. Whereas these others that I'm talking about here don't need that. Caddy Bree is a great DPS. I love Caddy Bree DPS. Yeah, I'm not sure lately I've played around with anyone outside of the ones I've just mentioned. In large part because right now, because there's a big bug around Bud lately, I end up just I try to do a pushing formation, but because my pushing formations tend to have debuffers in it, it breaks. The Bud breaks, and then it doesn't matter if I have a DPS in the formation at all, because that's not who's setting Bud anymore. So until they get that fixed, for me, it's very hard to know who's even... It's impossible for me to know who's a really good DPS right now, because if there's debuffers in the formation at all, it's breaking everything and giving us wrong information. Rough Rider, was there adequate leftover turkey? Yeah, I had it last night. I had it last night for dinner. It was good. What event is dropping Wednesday? Simrel. Simrel returns. Simrel brings back Warduke and Yorvin. Hey, so there you go. The money beast that I was just talking about. And one of the, I think top 3 mathematically superior DPS champions currently. I don't know if that's correct, but it feels like those 3 get talked about a lot. Warduke, Krond, and Artemis, because they're all broken in a similar way, mathematically speaking. And then Yorvin, again, I like Yorvin, so you'll get to try him out on Wednesday. And then they arrive with the newest champion, Shadowheart. Shadowheart's coming from Baldur's Gate 3 as a member of Absolute Adversary. She is the new champion coming to the game. She's looking interesting. I like some of her mechanics. We'll see. As always, I'm waiting to see if one of her abilities is multiplicatively stacking. As long as it's, and if it's pre-stack for the item support, then she's in the potential crew for being a super strong champion in the future. Yeah. Savagen, regarding Strongheart's honorary member spec, what happens if there are equal number of affiliations? He joins all of them. Like if you have 3 affiliations, if you have 3 or 6 champions and each of them 2, there's 3 sets of 2, he joins all of them. Yeah, when it's a tie, the tie goes to the player because you get credit for all. You get to be part of all of them. Garble for life. Would I get item levels back if I put a GE on Humon or Briv? Not on Briv. But if you had a capped Humon with a shiny and you put a golden on it, you would get a refund. But Briv doesn't have a cap, so there's no refund. You just get more power. So putting a shiny or a golden on a capped item is the only way to then get refunded item levels. D2 Crafting One, how do you dismantle again? You just click on a champion that is up for dismantle. Wait, hold on. Show me over here. Warden's up for full dismantle. So one of the 5 season champions would have full dismantle. You just click on the button. It's going to tell you what you're going to get back. Down here, it gives you all the list of everything you would get. And you can either dismantle or not. Dismantle or not. Now, everyone right now has Legendary Dismantle open. Again, same kind of timer. Whenever they start a season, you get a few weeks where you can... Everyone can Legendary Dismantle, and the season champions can full dismantle. So if I wanted to pull the legendaries off of a champion, I can do it that way. And move them around. Gordas, my brief is 4-jump, and I have no hope of trying for 9-jump. Welcome to the party. I worked on it for... I tried to save up blacksmithing contracts for a long, long time, and eventually I gave up because it just seems kind of pointless. So no reason to now golden epic his 4. If you're already at 4-jump and you didn't have the golden epic, you don't have to. You don't have to. Usually you golden it on the way there. If you're already there, look at your Humon. If you don't have your golden rainbow eggs, do that, or one of those other, like an Artemis or a Krond or a War Duke. If you're going to lean into those, or another speed champion that has item support, with a capped item specifically, like Sentry. I have her golden epic flowering hairvines, although that doesn't refund you much. She caps out like around 500, and then the golden, 500 for a shiny. The golden just drops it to 250, so you don't get much back. Again, I would most likely be interested in a golden for when I'm allowed to golden this, because that would get me a lot back. That would get me a lot back. All right, folks, that's going to be everything. Thanks for joining us. No more streams on this channel this weekend. However, you can join me in about an hour. I'm going to go run and get some lunch. Today we're playing another game, Raid Shadow Legends, because Baldur's Gate 3 has a lag issue that came in with the last patch. Womp womp. But in Act 3, it's kind of unplayable at the moment, which is sad, because until now, the game has, for the most part, not really had bugs that made me want to stop playing it. I've just wanted to keep playing it. So, yeah. But if you want to just come hang out and chat, we can talk Idle Champions while I do other stuff. That's fine. Also, I stream a lot during the week. On Mondays and Wednesdays, specifically, I have Idle Champion streams. The show called Idle Chatter. We talk about food a lot, but also Idle Champions and other things. Yeah. Streams on this channel will return on Tuesday, though. Tuesday. Yeah. On the song, we're going out with Baloth the Entertainer, because he did make an appearance during the Fatebreaker. If I don't see you in an hour, have a great weekend. I'll see you all next week, folks.
Ladies and gents, welcome to the Black Pits. Best show in all the realms. Here is your host, provider of the smash hits, Baloth Baratil, one of the world's top 5 spellcasters, slayer of Tiamat and fake Hal Lassner, chaotic evil but a first disaster. He is the underdog's greatest ringmaster, Baloth the Entertainer. His empire's vast and it's wide, even extra player. Baloth the Entertainer. Just a sign on the line, and you're on a retainer. Baloth the Entertainer. He'll make you a star. He is the chosen of the Raven Queen, served by the noble Jim disease. He's got the illest hand you've ever seen. He is the shadow sorcerer supreme. He's got the wand of Orcus in his grasp, stolen from him by the goddess mask. He hangs it with his bloody glass.
Fantastic.
That one's the clip.
Yeah.
That's the clip.
I'm so thrilled. I'm so very thrilled.